Hey everyone, it's Tyler Stark from Universal Rackets, and in this video we're going to be going over the main 3 things that you need to do after your third shot drop. At Universal Rackets, we have made so many different videos about how to hit a third shot drop, how to hit a topspin drop, how to improve your drop, but in this video we're going to be teaching you what to do after you hit the drop. Once again, after you hit that third shot drop or any type of drop in pickleball, you should do one of these 3 things that we are going to go over. As a pickleball player, you need to anticipate. That's why when you go out on court, you might play some players that you see and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to beat them real easily. And then they absolutely annihilate you. And the reason why is because of anticipation. Anticipation will take you many lengths in pickleball. So let's get started on the 3 things, again, that you need to do after your third shot drop. So first off, pretend the person hitting that third shot is back there. I am the person receiving that third shot up at the kitchen after my return. Again, they are hitting the third shot. I am receiving the third shot. You have to understand what type of third shot that you hit. You can either think offense, defense, and neutral. You can think red light, green light, yellow light, or you can think high, neutral, in the middle, or low. I want you to understand, if you hit a high third shot drop, you float the ball up in the air, and I'm going to be showing you guys soon, but you float the ball up in the air, I'm going to probably make contact receiving that third shot up here. Now, what can I do if I receive a third shot up here? Number 1, I am above the net. If I'm above the net, that means I can swing down. That means I can be aggressive. So if you hit me a super high floater ball, what can I do? I can swing down on it. Now, if you hit me a third shot and it doesn't go all the way in the kitchen, it's not perfect, it's not pretty, but I make contact around here at or a little bit above the net height, the only thing that I can do to get this ball over the net is swing forward. Basically block it back. Now, of course, I understand if you're a more advanced player, more pro players are going to be able to lean down and flick it. But for the most part, in general, if you're playing a normal club level player and the ball comes around the net height, you're going to be able to block it back. Now, if you hit a really good drop, if I receive a really good drop, what's going to happen? That drop's going to bounce into the kitchen. What is that going to force me to do to get the ball in? It's going to force me to have to make contact below the net and hit the ball up. So again, if you hit a high drop to a person, they can smash down, I can smash down. If you hit a neutral drop, I can block it back. If you hit a good drop into the kitchen, it forces me to have to hit up over the net. Now, what type of drop do you want to hit? You want to hit the drop that goes into the kitchen. So based upon the height of your drop and the height that you see will determine these 3 things that you need to do. So which shot are you going to move up on? Are you going to move up on this shot? Are you going to move up on this shot? Or are you going to move up on this shot? Well, it's very simple. You're not going to move up on the first one. Why? Because your opponent can smash it down. So what I want you to think is, number 1, the first thing that you need to do, or one of the 3 things that you need to do for your drop, is if you hit the ball high, it's basically you're on defense, you have a red light, you're not supposed to go, you need to move back. Once again, if you ever pop the ball up in the air, and the reason why I started as a person receiving the drop is so you could see what they could do with it. If your opponent is going to smash the ball at you, what are you going to do after the drop? You are going to move back and you're going to stay back. Once again, if you ever pop your drop up, if it's ever a bad drop, you are going to move back. You're on defense. It's the red light. You're not moving up to the kitchen. So that's number 1. If you ever hit a high drop, you are going to move back to the baseline and try to block the ball back. That's number 1. If I ever float my drop up in the air, what am I going to do? I'm going to stay back. Now, when I stay back, all I'm going to do is try to block the ball back. Here's the thing, when you move back, it's not over. A lot of beginner, intermediate players, they think, oh no, I popped the drop, the point's over, it's done, right? Now, when you move back, you don't have to think the point's over. It's not always over. A lot of beginner, intermediate players, they pop the ball up, they think it's automatically over and the point's done. Instead, what you're going to do is if you hit a high drop, if you're at a red light, if you hit a defensive, right, you're on defense, what are you going to do? You're just going to stay back. Okay, you pop it up, you're going to stay back, you're going to stay back. And then, look, if you hit a good one, then you're going to move up. I'm not going to tell you just yet because we didn't tell you what to do when you hit a good drop. So basically, if you ever pop the ball up in the air, you're going to move back, you're going to stay back until what? Until you finally get a good drop into the kitchen, and then you're going to again move up to the kitchen. Well, I just told you, but that's okay. So think, every single time that you are going to get a high drop, your opponent's going to smash the ball down, you're going to think that you're going to just keep on trying to get the ball back. And the key thing is to get the ball back. You want to make sure that you just block the ball back. A lot of players, they'll pop up their third shot and then they'll smash it down and then they'll hit a shot like this, fight or flight. No, every single time, if you ever pop a drop up in the air and it's too high, what are you going to do? You're going to try to block it. You're going to try to block it. You're going to try to block it back, block it back, block it back every single time until you get a good ball and you go up to the kitchen. The next thing that you want to do is what? If you hit it really high and you hit it so your opponent's hitting down, you're going to stay back. Now, if you hit it low and you hit it into the kitchen, what are you going to do? You are going to move up. That is why pickleballers use their third shot drop. They use it to get up to the kitchen because whenever you're up at the kitchen, you're in the best place to win. So the whole goal is to get from point A to point B up at the kitchen. So when you're playing, you want to make sure you hit that ball, and if it goes into the kitchen, you're moving forward every single time. So again, you're going to go like this. You're going to hit it. If it goes into the kitchen, then you're going to move up to the kitchen after you hit it. So if you ever hit a good drop, you're on offense. You're on green light. You're moving up to the kitchen. Again, so thing number one that you're going to do, if you pop the ball up in there, what are you going to do? You're going to stay back and you're going to try to block the ball back until you get a good shot. Thing number two, if you hit a ball into the kitchen, what are you going to do? You are going to move up into or to the kitchen. So green light means you hit a good shot. Red light means you stay back. Now, what do you do if you hit a neutral shot? Well, it depends, okay? So you have green light, you have red light. That's thing one and thing two. What about thing three? What if the person, you hit the ball like this? So what happens if you don't pop the ball up in there, you don't hit a really good shot in the kitchen, but it's in the middle, it's neutral, it's yellow light. You're not doing anything, right? You don't know what to do. Well, it depends upon the person up at the kitchen. If you're playing a person that hits the ball really good, they can be really aggressive, they can hit an offensive ball from a neutral standpoint, then what are you going to do? You're going to treat that as a red light. If you're playing someone that's really trouble blocking the ball back, maybe they don't take it out of the air, so if they hit a drop, they're going to let the ball bounce and then they have to hit up. What are you going to do? You're going to take it as a green light. So, again, if you hit a super high drop, what are you going to do? Option one, you're going to stay back. So if you ever hit a defensive shot, you're going to stay back. If you ever hit an offensive shot, a good drop, you're going to move up. And then the last thing that you should do for your third shot drop is if you hit an okay drop, if the drop kind of looks like maybe like that, where they're making contact around at the net, it depends upon your opponent. You want to make sure that you can understand what type of shot your opponent is going to hit. If your opponent's up at the kitchen, they're really hitting an offensive ball, then clearly you're going to stay back. But then if your opponent's making contact at the kitchen, then you're going to stay up. So again, that type of yellow light drop, that neutral drop, it highly depends on what type of shot your opponent is going to hit. If your opponent shows you that they can be aggressive, that they can take the ball out of air, that they have a lot of power, then you might treat it as a red light. However, there's many pickleball players that take the high balls on the bounce. They don't hit really hard. Then you're going to take it as a green light. So the drop highly depends upon what type of player that you're going to play. If you play someone that's lower level or not as aggressive, basically a good drop has much more margin for error. And what I mean by that is I can go higher at a person and they're not going to put the ball away, or they're going to give me an opportunity. However, if I play a higher level person, the margin for error for the drop gets smaller. The reason why is because, okay, clearly, if you hit it up here, you're dead. If you hit it here, you're still dead. The higher level players you get, the lower you hit the ball, you're still gonna be, they're still gonna be extremely aggressive unless you really get them down low, hitting up over the net. So once again, when you are hitting your third shot drops, you need to think, am I popping the ball up in the air? That means I should stay back. Am I hitting the ball in the kitchen? That means I should move up. Or am I hitting the ball around where they make contact, around the yellow light or neutral? And that, again, is highly dependent upon your type of opponent. Now, if you are a more advanced player and you want to take your game to the next level, you have to understand one big thing, and that is anticipation. And what I mean by that is after you hit your drop, you need to not just look at your drop. If you look to see where your ball goes, it's going to take so much longer than you trusting in your shot. And this is a big thing that happened to me when I was playing a pro pickleball tournament. My partner looked at me, he's like, Tyler, you're fast. You're skinny, you can move, you're fast. Like, he's like, you are very athletic, which I am. I can run fast, I can do it all. But for some reason, I couldn't get to the kitchen. For some reason, every single time I hit a good drop, these higher level players, they would just smash the ball down. And I was like, what am I doing wrong? I can't get to the kitchen. So I can't get to the kitchen. After I hit a good drop, I'm still here. I'm being on defense. I'm being neutralized. I just can't get up to the kitchen. I don't understand. And this guy who's my partner isn't as fast as me, and he got up to the kitchen every single time. And I was like, Zach, what am I doing wrong? Why are you absolutely destroying me? And this was a huge light bulb moment basically 5 months ago. And here's what happened, right? What I would do is I would hit my drop. Ooh, it's a good one. Then I would move up and I would be around here. Instead of looking at my drop, what you need to do is watch. And this is what he was doing, and this is what high level players, instead of waiting to see the result of the drop, they're gonna hit it and they're gonna move up. Now I'm up here. So instead of waiting to see the result of your drop, you need to trust your feeling if you're a more advanced level player. By trusting your feeling, you're minimizing the time of you having to wait for the result. It's literally going to be here where I always got caught up versus up here when you're up at the kitchen and you're ready to roll. So you need to trust the feeling of your shot. Now, there are going to be a couple times where you're going to try to hit and you're going to feel like it's good, and for some reason, what's going to happen? They're going to smack the ball at you and you're going to be on defense. Or there's going to be other times where you think it's really bad and the ball somehow drops in. Well, that's okay, because you're going to win way more points being more proactive instead of reactive. You're going to win way more points having time than the points that you're going to lose because you guessed the wrong way. So if you want to take your game to the next level, once again, you need to start understanding to trust in your drops. Once again, you need to trust your drops. You need to start getting the feeling of what's a good drop, what's not a good drop, and what's an okay drop. So again, the beginner intermediate players start thinking about the result. Am I going high? Am I going neutral? Am I going low? And then once you progress and you get more advanced, then you're going to start going off of feeling. Once again, we have tons of videos on how to hit a good third shot drop, how to hit a slice drop, how to hit a topspin drop. I put them all linked in the description, but this video is what to do after the drop. If you can think again, when it's high, you're gonna stay back. When it's good, you're gonna move up, or when it's neutral, depending upon your opponent, you're going to either move up or stay back. It's going to help a ton. So I hope this helps you. If it did, let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and we will see you guys next time on court. Make sure to check out all the new Selkirk gear. I have my awesome Selkirk shirt. Absolutely love this type of shirt. The apparel, it's just like Lululemon. Then we have the Selkirk Invicta Pro Vanguard Pickleball paddle. And my favorite right now, I'm rocking these shoes. These are Miller Lite pickleball shoes. I got the Miller Lite socks. And then also, you can see you got Miller Lite. It's like on the sides, it says Miller Lite on here. These are some pretty cool pickleball shoes. I feel like beer and pickleball go really well. I'm not a Miller Lite guy, but now wearing these shoes, I feel like I have to try Miller Lite in the next couple of days. It's been a while. I think it was uneventful, but yeah, we'll try it again. So have a good one. Happy hitting. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Click the links in the description, and we will see you guys next time on court.